5 times Peter passes out in inconvenient places, plus 1 time it's the perfect spot. By Awesomesockes and whumphoarder. Chapter 2. Peter vs. Amusement Park. There's the familiar sound of metal clanging against metal. 43. Tony and Peter both mutter tiredly at the same time as the man in front of them bends down sheepishly to retrieve the magnetic metal chain that forms the snaking queue towards their current ride from where it lies against the pole. They've been hearing that sound all day, every time someone in line leans against the barrier and the chain falls to the ground. They started counting sometime around noon. "What are we doing after Jurassic World?" Peter asks as they inch forward. Tony glances down at his watch and sees a text from Pepper. "Happy and Morgan just finished the Simpsons ride and they're on their way down here to meet us. I guess Morgan was pretty bummed about not being tall enough to ride that Forbidden Journey Harry Potter thing." Peter hums in sympathy. Bet she wishes she got Pepper's high jeans. Tony kicks his foot playfully, eliciting a giggle from the teenager. "Hey, I'm taller than you," he points out. "Yeah, but I'm still growing," Peter says with a grin. "You've been dumb for like 50 years. Tony rolls his eyes. "Watch it, kid, or I'm not taking you on any more family vacations." Peter shuts up after that. The two continue to slowly make their way towards the ride. Despite their express passes, they have been waiting in line for over an hour. Tony is low-key regretting letting Peter and Morgan talk him into taking them to Universal Studios over 4th of July weekend rather than simply relaxing at the pool of their recently rebuilt Malibu mansion as planned. But even with the hordes of people all around and the hot sun beating down on them, Tony has to admit it's been a pretty fun time. Seeing the kids' excitement over the various shows, attractions, and rides has had him grinning most of the day. The line moves forward again as the next boat fills with passengers. From the looks of it, they should be boarding the following round. Tony expects more excitement from the kid, given Peter's slight obsession with dinosaurs and the fact that he's been talking about this ride all day, but he's fairly quiet now as they shuffle along. "Getting tired?" Tony asks, turning to him. Peter nods a bit, then swallows. Do you have any water left?" Tony shakes his head. "No, I think I left my bottle on that mummy ride." "Oh, okay," Peter says with a sigh. "No problem." "We'll get some dinner after this," Tony promises. He spies the other 3 members of their group sitting on a bench 15 yards away from the queue and waves at them. Pepper and Morgan wave back, while Happy, holding a massive plushie of Toothless the Dragon, gives a nod. "I saw a cafe somewhere around here before." He turns back to look at Peter as he continues. They have burgers and ice cream, and that's when he notices Peter's eyes roll back in his head. The kid's knees buckle a split second later and he starts to collapse. "Whoa!" Tony shoots his arm out to grab Peter's bicep. The kid slumps into him and it's all Tony can do to loop his other arm around him to slow his descent to the ground. Peter's limp arm swings, taking out one of the metal chains of the queue barriers on his way down. It clangs into the supporting pole. 44. Tony thinks bitterly to himself as he guides Peter's body to the ground. There are a few scattered gasps from the surrounding crowd. Tony hears someone call for security, but he's more focused on the unconscious boy in front of him. "Peter?" Tony asks, tapping his cheek urgently. Peter, can you hear me? The kid gives no response, so Tony switches to shaking him by the shoulder. A few people step around him in line, muttering curiously as they pass. Peter, come on, kid, let's not do this here. Excuse me, sorry, I'm with them. Tony recognizes Pepper's voice, polite but firm, drawing closer. He glances over his shoulder to see her ducking under the barrier at the side of the queue and weaving her way toward him. I saw him drop. What's going on? She asks in concern. I think he fainted, Tony replies. Do you have any water? Pepper starts digging through her bag at the same time that a staff member appears. She's holding a radio and not looking at all fazed by what's just occurred. It's probably heat exhaustion or dehydration, the staff member assesses. She crouches down beside Peter, whose eyelids have just started to flutter. Pretty common around here. We'll just move him out of line and... Peter's eyes snap open. No! He gasps, starting to push himself on his elbows. Can't leave! We're so close! Tony rolls his eyes and helps the kid all the way up to sitting. You just fainted, Peter. You're not going to Jurassic World. Peter looks stricken. But, Mr. Stark, we waited so long. Yeah, long enough for you to get dehydrated, apparently. Tony retorts as Pepper uncaps a water bottle and hands it to the kid. Take a few sips of that and then we'll go sit for a bit. Try again after dinner. Peter groans, but sips his water anyway. Then Tony and Pepper each take an arm and hoist him to his feet. You got him? The staff member checks. I can help you take him to first aid station. It's not far from here. I think we've got it handled. Tony declines. Thanks. The lady leaves, speaking into her radio as she goes on. Tony and Pepper guide the wobbly teenager out of line and over to where Morgan and Happy are waiting anxiously. Peter! Morgan exclaims. She's holding a white box. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Peter mumbles. His cheeks are looking pinker than before, and Tony suspects it's more than just the slight sunburn he's acquired. Uncle Happy said you might be hungry. She thrusts her box out in front of her. The top has a see-through window, revealing the single largest pink-glazed sprinkled donut Tony has ever laid his eyes on. The thing has to be at least 8 inches in diameter, and there's a sticker on the front that says, Lord Lad. We got a donut for you. Peter swallows hard, looking a bit sick. Maybe in a little bit. Yeah, water first, kiddo, Tony says, intercepting the box from his daughter and passing it back to Happy. Maybe a soda. Morgan's eyes sparkle. Then donuts? She asks. Then donuts, Tony promises. Peter sighs dizzily as Tony and Pepper ease him onto a bench. Then Jurassic World. Man, do I feel bad for Peter. All this progress and waiting for nothing. Good on Tony for declining him that ride, though. Boy needed his rest. It's 2 days for me till I see a brand new day. Been avoiding spoilers like the plague. I'm super excited, oh my god. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Don't forget to send kudos to the authors through the link in the description. Also, if you'd like to request any fics, make sure to click the tally link below. And if you'd like to show more support or check out August's schedule, click the link through Ko-fi. Hope you have a great week. Till next time.